Oh, bloody hell. Oh, it's just a person. I'm sorry, but that was amateur. Before we get into this video, I first of all just want to give a couple of disclaimers. First of all, I know people who work at Fright Nights, whether that be actors or members of the creative team, will likely watch this video because that has been the case in the past. And I understand that, as always, a lot of hard work and dedication has gone into this event, and I'm not in any way trying to discredit that. There are a few people in particular who I've messaged privately, tagged in stories, and who I will give a shout out to in this video, who should be extremely proud of the work they've put in this year into the event. And I just want to say to you guys that any strong negative feedback I'm going to be expressing is not in any way directed at you. My second point is, please don't judge the book by its cover. While this video may seem positive at first, various events took place throughout the day that had a negative impact on my experience. However, I was unable to cover these fully at the time due to reasons I will go on to explain. Not to mention, this vlog showcases my entire day at Thorpe Park from my perspective, with the park opening at 10 AM and Fright Nights not beginning until 3 PM. To skip to the beginning of Fright Nights, navigate to the video chapter titled Fright Nights Opening Ceremony, and to skip to my full explanation of why the day didn't go to plan and why I'm not a big fan of the event this year, skip to the chapter titled Honest Verdict on Fright Nights. I can't believe it, but it is that time of year again. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Thorpe Park Fright Nights vlog. It is the 4th year of me visiting this event now. We are back once again to experience all the various scare mazes, scare zones and shows on offer. In terms of this year, I think it's the first ever time in Thorpe Park Fright Nights history we actually got no new mazes. So it's still trailers, Deadbeat survival games and the infamously awful Stitches, which we'll discuss later. Apart from that, we have got, however, a brand new scare zone known as Purgatory Town, which I believe involves some roaming actors in Big Easy Boulevard. Creature Campers is back with Creature Campers Shock to the System, my all-time favourite thing here. Crows of Mawkin Meadow, which we didn't get a chance to do last year, so hopefully get to do that. And also Lucifers Lair, which I've actually never done. We've neglected that quite a bit, so I'd like to go and see a show in there this time, because I've never done that before, and there's some roaming actors as well we could interact with. I'd like to see the fire show, but we'll see what we get up to. It's actually the first time I've ever been to Thorpe Park and it's raining. It is trying its hardest to rain. I think we're going to have showers on off all day. These two have done nothing but complain about it, and just the park in general. They're not happy because Stealth is looking to be closed all day. Unfortunately, it's had a few issues the past few days. It's going to be rise till 3 o'clock. Most of the vlog will of course be done after then, but I'll update you with some of my opinions because it has been a while, hasn't it? It's been a year since the last vlog from this park. We're going on Detonator up there, and we're walking through Big Easy Boulevard where Purgatory Town's going to be. There's puddles all over the place because it's been raining, but yeah, on to Detonator and back here late for Purgatory Town for some roaming actor interaction. Oh god, I'm nervous guys. 3 years since I've done this. It's obviously had a re-theme since then to fit in with the Big Easy Boulevard when they redid it in 2024. It used to be Angry Birds. But yeah, this is a really powerful drop tower. So yeah, it does pack a punch this. I think it's like 5G or something. Here we go. Is it going to drop on 0? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there we go. We just had 2 back-to-back rides on it. Screamed me head off. I think on the second one I did the infamous 3-click challenge. I didn't intend to, but I had so much room. That is such a good drop tower. It pulls like 5G, as I said, and you can really feel it. Flung out my seat. Not done it with my hands up yet, but I'm gonna have to do it with my hands up one time. But we can't get right up to it because Stealth is closed. But over there you can see the Creature Campers set up. It's basically the same as last year, so they got the little facade, and they've also got a stage this year. It's gonna be interesting because the stage, from clips I've seen, doesn't look like it takes up that much room, so there's less room for the dancers to dance. But I guess the reason they've done it is to give people who turn up later and stood further back, more ability to see the show. But yeah, it's a real shame about stealth up there. It says closed all day on the app, so it's not looking good at all. In terms of the actual show times for Creature Campus, there have been some changes this year as well. The first one used to be at 3 o'clock, and then they used to have it at, at 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, and 8:30. However, they've changed it now 4:45 every hour apart from 4:45. So 4:45 is the first one, then 6:45, 7:00, 8:00 and 9:00. I'm not happy about that, and the reason they've changed it is because they've doing a bloody opening ceremony in Lucifer's Lair with like all the actors and stuff. Apparently Lucifer's taken over Fright Nights this year, which I'm not happy about. Like, he's been here for 3 years already, and now he's like, well, 2 actually, and now it's like everything has to be about Lucifer, doesn't it? Thank God the other bloody creatures in the Creature Campus this year aren't Lucifers. But it's raining as well now, just to sum up the mood on this. Yeah, we've got some Franks this year, so the Gorgons obviously beat the witches last year. We've now got some Frankenstein type creatures that are going against them. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think the story is going to be pretty predictable with who wins based off the last couple of years, but either way, it's going to be really exciting to see. Oh my word, I forget how good the rides at this park are. Row 2, Nemesis Inferno we've just been on. That is so much better than the OG Nemesis. Like, it's gotten to a point where I was thinking there weren't much between them because I'd done a lot of like row 5s, mid-trains and this, but having done both on the front recently, you can really tell the difference on this. Pushed up into everything, and it's just absolutely incredible. It's ridiculous, some of the forces you get in, and it's constant all the way through. There's only one dead spot towards the end of the ride where you go down this like little drop, and Nemesis has several. Yes, I think we're now going to head towards Hyperia before getting some lunch. Will you shut up? Oh my god, I always forget how good Hyperia is. What's even better is you now have these new resins. They had these ones before, I think, but now they've got the Hyperia, like the train, which is incredible. Really cool.
It doesn't say how much it is. I think it's £18.
That's the same as the others then. If it's £18, that's not too bad. Yeah, Hyperia, all she did was complain about how painful the rain was, but I don't care because
it started raining when we was on.
It is by far the best coaster in this country still.
It is
and it's the only coaster that ever makes me grey out. Like, the Immelman is ridiculously like intense. It must pull over 5G.
I'm not going to say the ride's painful.
Like, Swarm is close, but that Immelman, like, Jesus Christ, man. We've also got some new caps as I'm modelling here. So yeah, great to see new stuff in the Hyperia shop, Hyporium, especially towards the end of the season as well. There we go. Deadbeat is obviously back for 2025. So we've got some new missing posters here.
Got some like Easter eggs.
Jack Silkstone and who else is on there? Kieran and
Archie.
Yeah.
Thomas. I can't read the other name.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
We've got a Jack Silkstone reference. Obviously, we were fortunate enough to do this maze with Jack last year, which was an incredible experience. If you are watching, Jack, thank you. I'm still forever grateful for that, and Archie as well. And now they're in the queue line. So yeah, obviously they play a massive part in Fright Nights. Jack does all the marketing stuff with Kieran helping out as well, and Archie does all the soundtracks for Fright Nights. Since it's raining, I think it'd be appropriate time to discuss the worst maze on park, Stitches. Yeah, this is obviously back for another year. I've been very critical of it, even publicly now. I'm quite well known for it due to some live streams and stuff. Oh, the rain's picking up. Oh dear. But yeah, I've had a couple of very bad run-throughs this in the years that it's been here. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, it's just a person. I thought it was like something blowing over. But yeah, yeah, even some like actors and stuff have been on the live streams that I've like been critical of this. So I think some of the actors in here who were working this year know who I am now. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This is the worst the rain's been all day, by the way.
Yeah, should we go in the dome?
Yeah.
I think we need to leave
Dome.
Stitches
In the
now.
dome.
Alright, we've just done the 2 roughest rides on park. I'll spin you around. One of them you should be able to see in the background of me. But Colossus and Saw. Colossus was horrible. We got a sign. Honestly, the ride host. What's up with you, love? Having a bad day? What do you have against me and Danielle? Well, all of us really. Made 2 of us go on the back of the car, on the very back row of the ride, which we've never done before, and after that ride I never want to do again. 1 on the front. Oh, that was horrible, Colossus. It wasn't quite as bad as Infusion, but apart from that, roughest coaster in the country. Not nice, head banging all the way through. It just rides so inconsistently, that. Like, sometimes it'll be butter smooth, but then I've had a couple of rides like that, the other being in 2022, which was even worse than that, further forward on the train, where it's just horrible. Yeah, if you're getting head banging when you leave the lift hill, you know you're in for a rough ride with that one. Saw I found fine. We're on the front row. Made Josh go on the outer seat because he got lucky on Colossus and went on the front. Made me and Danielle go on the back. She says it was rough. I found it okay.
Still found it quite headbanging in the middle seats, so I dread to think what it was like on the outer seats.
I was on the seat next to her in the middle, on the right hand side of the train, and it was fine.
Like something with that side.
Maybe. It was a bit more rattly than other rides I've had on it, but it wasn't rough at all.
Wheel, please, Thorpe.
I didn't get any head banging, but it was mainly sort of at the bottom of the first drop. There's a bit of a jolt usually. That was quite bad.
I had a bit of a jolt before the airtime.
Yeah, that was a bit jolty as well. We've got a little bit of a timeout on our rat card after the ride on Saw that I enjoyed. Danielle didn't, and Josh did as well, by the way. So yeah, here is Lucifer's Lair. I did say you enjoyed it, but yeah, Lucifer's Lair. We got a stage there. We got some cages and stuff. It looks like an interesting one. As I said in the intro, hoping to give this a bit more attention in this vlog because I feel like I've neglected it in previous years. If you've ever wondered what survival games is like at the start, or at least in previous years, anyway, who knows? They could have, I don't know, changed it this year, whatever. It looks a bit like this. You get put in cages. So yeah, just to make you aware, if you did survival games ever, you might get put in a cage. But yeah, this is the cages I was on about for the Lucifer's Lair. I think they do a Deadly Sins show where they put someone in there and get them to confess their sins. So yeah, that sounds quite interesting. It's going to be my first ever time in the Sunset Cinema to say Ready Player One 4D experience. Here we go. So as you can see, and as I mentioned before, we were going to do, we went to see Ready Player One the 4D experience, the last showing of the day. So it's a 12A film, that, so if you're under 12 you can see with an adult, if you're over 12 you're fine. From 3 they show it the 4D experience as part of Fright Nights, which I forgot to mention before. And for that you have to be 15 and you might be asked to provide ID. I'm not bothered about seeing that, but it was good to sort of see Ready Player One, see what it's about. I don't think I need to see it after seeing that. But yeah, basically you have to wear these 3D glasses that are very poor quality, they're just paper. Like the Disney ones that they have for the like 4D rides are like proper plastic.
Yeah, they'll be reusable though.
True. These are gonna have to go in the bin, unfortunately. It's been fun walking around with these. Yeah, basically you watch parts of the film chopped up. If you don't know, I've actually watched the full film of this. It's a very interesting film with some interesting moments, and it's based on basically a journey in virtual reality. So they're playing this sort of futuristic virtual reality game in a place called the Oasis, which is this fictional place. So it's bits of the film chopped up. Most of it's focused on this racing sequence. But yeah, I got squirted with water multiple times, right in the face. I got sprayed with air. My seat moved backwards and forwards. We had leg ticklers. It was basically Nemesis Subterra, but kind of more violent in a way. But yeah, all it was missing was the drop tower, and then it would have been the Nemesis Subterra. It's mainly a one and done thing you do if you've done everything else, but I guess it's a good filler thing to have at the park. It runs every hour throughout the day, so yeah, if you've done everything and you fancy something a bit different, go and check it out. Right, we are all here now ready for the Lucifer's Lair opening ceremony. It's 5 to 3. Not happy that this is replacing the first creature, well, not replacing it, just delaying it till 3:45 because they're doing this at 3 o'clock instead of that. But yeah, go on Inferno.
The House of Horrors, a so-called imagine a more fitting territory to declare as my own. After all, I am the king of eternal damnation. I embody the nightmare in which you wake from each night. The chill that crawls up your spine when the lights go out, and every monster under your bed. My beastlings, don't get overexcited. I think some introductions are in order, don't you? I said, don't you? Perhaps some of you childish souls enjoy playing games, but I can assure you, we have just the place for you. However, don't be misled. This is no place for children. These games of survival are unsettling, unforgettable, and some would say elite. Be careful, my dearest players. The cost of these games may be more than you're willing to give. Are you prepared to feel the wrath of those who lost themselves to play? Take such pride in being the main character. I encourage you to audition for the leading role. I personally have never liked movies. I find the trailers the best bit. It's a pleasure to Mawkin Meadow if you dare. Or don't. After all, and where the crows go, nobody knows. It would be a shame if anything evil was to be resurrected. I mean, unveiled. I'm sure Medusa has everything under wraps. To the last night on Earth party, hosted by the one and only DJ Canistro. However, tread lightly, mortals. Or don't, and dance till you die. Dare to visit Purgatory Town, where greedy souls will cling to your mortality, and I can promise you a trick, and for them, a treat. Forgotten toy, wishing for one more playtime. But don't worry, I'm sure our toys have sturdy stitches. Doors of hell. Immortals, louder. Shout, you impatient air breathers. Let's have some real fun, shall we? Welcome, my dear fragile.
There was.
Where your deepest fears come to life. Welcome to where souls come to burn. Welcome to where fear festers around each turn. Welcome to Fright Nights. Let the scaring commence!
Alright, that was a brilliant opening ceremony. I'm not even mad because it was actually quite good. But first of all, we're going into trailers, so see you after it. Oh my god, we just come out of trailers. I don't know where to start. Like, the opening ceremony was amazing beforehand. They got all the actors out from all the mazes, like 1 act per maze. We just come out of that. Jesus Christ. So it was different from the start. So you usually have the safety briefing outside, but they took you inside. It was all calm. Like, there's this staff member just does it, plays a recording. All of a sudden this actor just comes running out from nowhere. Big jump scare from the start, and then just all the scenes after that. All the actors, they were so high energy. In terms of new stuff in there, there was 2 new scenes. There was like, I guess it was like a Vulcan Peak thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, similar.
Because there was a jungle bit in there before, and then they changed it to Death's Doors, changed it back. And then the platform 15 room from last year, they're banging on stuff like mad. And then there was an X24 room. That is what the reference to the poster was. There was a poster put outside with X on it. Sorry guys, I'm out of breath, that was so good. Basically there was a maze called Experiment 10 on Fright Nights 10th anniversary. And obviously it's Fright Nights 24th year this year, so they've done an Experiment 10 maze, which was like this government facilities theme maze, and changed it to X24. But honestly, every single room, there was massive jump scares, it was crazy. That is one of the best run-throughs of a scare maze I've ever had. That was twice as in, last year it was intense, and that was like double that. It was insane, and they weren't like touching in there or anything, but there was just, we were at the front of the group, which helped, but even then they were like running to the people at the back. And then the finale, there were so many actors in that finale.
They were not short of actors in there.
Running all over the place. I'm speechless. Best maze of Halloween by far.
Yeah.
It would have been if it ended at the Bozos bit, to be honest, but like...
Which, to be fair, usually like mazes, like they are a bit short of actors, but trailers completely isn't.
That was insane. I don't need to say anything else. 10 out of 10. I want to give a shout out to Becca, who is an actor who's worked here for a while, who I know was performance captain for that. Oh god, copyright, because I know she's performance captain. She was in Deadbeat last year when we did it with Archers, the pre-show actress, and she was the performance captain for that. You've done an amazing job, that was incredible. Alright guys, the show starts in 5 minutes and the actors have arrived. Very exciting. I'm not going to film all of it now, hopefully I'll film it all at night for you and get it on the channel at some point before this vlog, but still, Preach Campers shock to the system. We'll film some of it now, like some highlights, and then do some bits later at night, of course.
Why, hello, my Serpent Squad, friends, allies, and devoted followers. It is my utmost pleasure to gather you all here today to celebrate me, us, our legacy, and 1 whole year since we stoned those witches. My dear snakes, my reign on this canvas remains, with my power building and my empire expanding. Tonight is a night of celebration. I think this party calls for a toast. Cumbrella, go fetch me a drink. I'm thirsty. Here's to new awakenings and an electrifying night.
They not like us. 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 Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. They scared this way. They scared this way. They scared this way. I'ma do my stuff. Why you chillin' like a witch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's poly.
Now, where has Cumbrella got to with my witch's stew? I mean brew. I'm parched. Not yet! I wasn't finished. They're working progress. Despite my creations. I need more time. What have you done? Slight issue. There.
Can you do more? Can you fix me up? Can you make me
What is that thing?
so
Why are you greedy? I'm pretty sure that one gives you a finger. You're not.
door, Medusa. Your hunger for power is gonna eat you alive. I hope you're not afraid of mine, because there's a storm coming. Slither on, reptiles. You just wait till we get charged up. I wanna be some lights. I wanna ride your body. I wanna go for a ride. Talk in the music and ride your body. Rock your body.
Last night, I'm in labyrinth. Coming to a hood near you. Nigga about to get your ass kicked. Jump from little homie, I dare you. When this type of nigga is only in the club, nobody wanna hear you.
You wanted more power, but there's still with all power you got. Your own hand built us, and your brain ends at the very hands you shape. Any last words, oh so powerful one? One last attempt to outrun our storm?
No! Get off of me! Remember who I am! I am your creator! You can't do this! I cannot be destroyed! Let me go!
Here's to an electrifying night.
There we go, guys. Gorgons have been defeated. I'll talk more about that after, but that was genuinely incredible. Yeah, whatever. Oh, there we go again. That was absolutely amazing. Creature campers right off the bat. The like effects and stuff you would have seen, smoke. Obviously they have this stage and it works quite well. They've choreographed it to work with the stage. It's obviously a smaller area, but you've seen them were getting on the ground and you get quite close up to them and stuff. Like Medusa was really close up to me at one point. Yeah, like it's just sat right there. But yeah, I tell you what, that might be one of my favourite song lists they've ever done. I actually put together a proposed song list for this show, putting in some more sort of dance and electronic music than we've had in previous years to sort that Shock the System theme. Archie, you've smashed it out the park. You might have only used one song that I proposed, that being Greyhound by Swedish House Mafia, for about 10-20 seconds, but you've smashed it. Like the mixing of that electronic music, incredible. A lot better than last year's sort of hip-hop based show. There was still some hip-hop in there and modern stuff, but I liked it. There was a lot of 2010s sort of electronic music, Deadmau5 and stuff, and there was about 4 Swedish House Mafia songs mixed together at one point, maybe 3 too. Honestly, Archie, well done once again. I want Dead Dance to shut up, so we're going to leave the area now. Time for Deadbeat. It's going to be so nice to get in this after the run through with Jack and Archie last year. Wasn't a fan of the public run, but oh well. We'll see if this is any better, I guess. I'm glad it's come back. And this soundtrack, the Q-Line audio for this is so good. I suspected trailers might have set the bar very high, and that definitely seems to have been the case. Yeah, Deadbeat. Obviously, we did it with Jack and Archie last year. It was amazing to get back in there and just see that maze again. after that amazing experience. Thank you both once again so much, if you are watching. However, yeah, it was an okay run through. It was better than the public, like, you'll remember if you watched last year's vlog, I was very critical of our public run through that. It was certainly better than last year's public run. There was more actors and they were getting closer and stuff. There was less sort of acrobatic nonsense. But the group size was way too big. We were at the back of our group, and we went really slow, so we were basically on our own.
It was kind of a bit like mine tour, so it was kind of difficult for us.
Considering we were on our own, it should have been better. But yeah, the groups descending in there are way too big. If you're not at the front or back of a scare maze in the group, like you're just not going to get anything. Like, it's not fair that the hosts are sending that big a group through.
It's
like
not.
I don't know how long the queue is, but it's not long enough to justify that.
I said like 10 minutes.
And then you had to like queue up. You went into like the tent last year where they did like an in-character pre-show, but it was just an actor giving you like, I didn't even know what it was. Just like, are you ready to enter? And then a little video. Like last year it had a proper story. And then you had to queue up again to actually go into the maze after the pre-show. I've never seen anything like that before. And we were put right at the back of the group. Like the group, we were in a pre-show, we caught up to like a group in front after the pre-show, and then like the groups got split. It was really weird. Yeah, it was okay. Was that there was some good scares. There was a good one with a mirror and a sound effect. That was really good. I think that was in there last year as well, but yeah, it could have been better. But you know, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't amazing. It was just very much sort of your average scare maze run through. Oh god, guys, it's time. It is time. The worst maze I've ever done. Are we going to get a third year lucky? Are we going to get battered because someone recognises me from the live streams? How can you mess up a scare maze that badly 3 years on the trot? I'm sorry, but that was amateur.
That was like
Stitches.
the worst run through I've had of that maze.
That is probably the worst of the 3 years.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse.
Yeah,
We're at the front of the group. We're at the front of the group. And the group site, the batching was fine. There's only 9 people
It's
in that
just
group.
the
I mean, it's the
scares.
maximum.
Yeah.
It's the maximum that it should be.
There was 9.
Yeah, we're at the very front. I didn't hear a single scream in there. It was ridiculous.
Problem is
We didn't see the best scare in there was the air cannon in the pre-show.
I think the actor at the end as well.
And there was a good jump scare at the end. But apart from that, the actors, I'm sorry, but I don't normally criticise actors, and the acting quality in there was very poor.
They weren't
It's the
loud
poorest
enough
acting quality I've seen in that
They
maze.
weren't loud enough to scare you. They
In
were,
previous years,
whimpering.
it's been down to a lack of actors. There was still a lack of actors, but the actors were in there. All the scares were off time. It was nothing compared to trailers. They need to double up with the trailers performance captain and sort them out, because the scares were coming too late. Even the tambourine scare or cymbal scare or whatever it is, you'll know from previous years. There's a monkey with cymbals halfway through. Even that I didn't jump.
No, that
How can
monkey-
you mess that up? It was timed way too late.
He wasn't even loud.
And then he wasn't even bothering.
Going as well.
The cymbals
It's
wasn't
like,
even loud.
yeah, exactly. There's nothing I can say about that hasn't been said already. It was absolutely awful, that. Absolutely amateur, and it's a shame because the theming's amazing. And there's all this like ambience, there's no soundtrack, there's a lot of ambience, which, you know, it's okay, but you need really impactful scares to, and I'm sorry, but all those actors were off time. I don't know what's happened. I clearly didn't get recognised in there from the launch. Like, and I stand by everything I've said in previous years. It's the worst scare maze I've ever seen. Like, it was well put together by the creative team, but then it wasn't, because the layout, that's something I often forget to mention about this maze. The layout is awful. It's too dark in there, in too many spaces. It's so easy to walk in an actor corridor, which I'm pretty sure has happened every year we've done it. There's no hope. Unless I go in there with Jack Silkstone, I don't think I'm getting a good run through that. And it's not just me. No one was screaming in there or anything. I don't know why it's so heavily praised. Like, whatever they do at press night in there, they need to do all the time. And they can, because I've seen POVs. I know what that maze is meant to be like. And I'm sorry, but the actors could not have done any more bad a job. Like, there was not enough of them, and then they were just, I don't know. From my least favourite maze to Danielle's least favourite maze, we're now heading to survival games.
Stitches is my least favourite, so I will go to my second least.
Well, we'll have to see, won't we? But yeah, we're walking over now.
I doubt it being much worse.
Walking now over onto Swarm Island.
The only way this can be worse than Stitches is if the actors are shouting.
We'll wait and see.
Being mannered.
These two don't know what's been done to this maze yet.
No,
However, there have been some major changes to it this year. It's basically a brand new maze. So,
I'm so dreadful.
yeah, we'll have to see what these guys think of it. I won't spoil it now, obviously. Here we go. Are you excited, Danielle?
No.
No? Why?
I've had bad every run through I've had since 2022. I have had bad for the past 3 years of this maze. I've had really bad run throughs. So maybe Thorpe run through lucky, maybe.
Maybe.
We're
Well,
so
I'm
nonchalant
not.
about this maze and he's shaking over it.
I'm not shaking. I'm not shaking because I know what they've changed, but
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
going to be
don't.
so good.
alright then, Survival Games has been here since 2022 and over its 4 year, because it's its 4th year now run, it's had very mixed reviews. However, as I said before the run through, some significant changes have been made to it this year. The significant change that has been made is that the maze has been made to be linear now, so everyone follows a set route. They've also added some extra theming in some of the rooms that didn't have theming before, so there was a lot of rooms with black walls and stuff. The pros of these changes in terms of the rerouting is that it's now a fully accessible maze. You're not going to be split up in there at the start like you were before, put into 2 separate sides in individual cages. What actually happens is you're all put into a singular cage and you watch a video. Now the story's changed quite significantly. Before you were competing in this game show, however it's now about sort of the company behind the game show basically creating mutants out of people. But what they do is they release all the specimens, some actors come out, you release from the cage, and you all go through the maze following a set route. So you go through what was the right side of the maze before, then over to the left side of the maze, so you get to see both sides now, and then into the main arena free flow section that there was before, which has now been altered to be completely linear. So yeah, it's more accessible. However, the downside is that obviously because you're not split up, the actors have to focus on everyone, and they're not being as aggressive in there as they were before. Just because you're not splitting up people, you still can be aggressive and touching and stuff. I only got touched by one actor in there. She was really good, quite aggressive, give me a good shove through part of the maze. Yeah, shove from behind, pushing and shoving. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but there could have been more actors and there could have been more touching in there. Now the chainsaw finale spoiler is still there, and we got that quite good. It was very well timed. Not the best chainsaw finale I've ever had, but it was decent, and it got us jogging out the maze. But Miss Hater, Survival Games, what did you think?
I mean, it is the best run through I've had of it. Definitely. Like, I think I've probably seen the same amount of actors that have equalled from year 1 of the maze to year 3. I've seen the equal amount of actors, so that shows how bad my run throughs have been in the past
I know,
years.
right? I've had better run throughs of it.
Yeah, there is a lot of dark rooms in there which I don't really get the point in, as well as, like, I'm glad to see the whole maze. I just wish the actors were more violent.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just the chainsaw run out is the best chainsaw run out I've had.
Definitely.
Like, I've had some times where I've missed it and the actor just literally blandly walks past me with no jump scare whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just walks past me getting ready for the next person, which they should at least try and cooperate with it, if
Yeah.
that's the case. But
Yeah, but there we go. Positives, you're in there longer and it's more accessible, but negatives, some of the actor interactions weren't as good. But yeah, in terms of the mazes, I'd rank them 1 trailers, 2 survival games, 3 Deadbeat, and 4 obviously Stitches. That can get in the bin. I think next year, like, are they gonna get rid of Stitches? Probably not, to annoy me. Like, get rid of survival games, because trailers was the stronger maze. Even though trailers has been there longer, it's just so strong. Just keep it going and keep updating the rooms in there, I'd say.
Got two people staring at me.
I decide who stays! I decide who goes! I'm a greedy man. I'm a more. And you are plump! You are right! You are the perfect new additions! Now! My dumb and dusty collection! Go and gather your new neighbours! Go!
Can you be my Can you fix me up? Can you be what is that thing? So why are they green? I'm pretty sure that one can see a finger. You're not
Now, let's get really rapid.
First thing in the morning, when I wake up, thank God for life. Look in the mirror, say yes, I'm the best, 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 best. I'm the best, best, best,
You just wait till we get charged up.
Yourselves. We're not going down without a fight.
Everybody get in your position. Pay attention. And listen. We're trying to get into the one thing. So let's try to make that happen. Stop, turn that up, take it higher. Take this motherfucker, start a riot. Don't stop, turn that up, take it higher.
What are you doing? Get up. This isn't finished until I say so. My creations, my rules, and I say you're done.
Any last words, oh so powerful one? One last attempt to outrun our storm?
No! Get off of me! Remember who I am! I am your creator! You can't do this! I cannot be destroyed! Let me go!
Here's to an electrifying night.
like you can see a few times where they nearly lost their foot.
Jesus Christ, man. Alright then, it is time for a walk through the Crows of Mawkin Meadow. In case you couldn't tell, I'm on really low battery. That's why there's been a lot of gaps and stuff. I've not been able to film as much as I'd like. I'm going to get Josh to send me some clips from the stuff we've missed.
And I'm going to get Ben to go to B&M and buy himself a power bank.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. My phone battery just isn't holding up anymore. That's right, nobody knows.
Right, as I was saying this morning, like this has already had an upgrade. Yet again.
I didn't do it last year, to be fair.
Loud audio as well. Some of them have got pumpkin heads, which they never used to. Oh good. There we go. I shouldn't look at my screen. I shouldn't be looking at my screen really.
Oh God! That actor just crashed into my arm.
Just crashed into me.
You would have. I don't know if you've seen that on the camera, guys, but that actor full on crashed into me then.
This is literally a straight path, but they've like made it go like round.
To prolong it, yeah.
It's such a long thing. They put smoke on the lake as well.
That's cool.
Future campus' smoke effect. Brilliant. See, we're going back now. We did do this last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've caught up to people. There we go.
There's too many people here.
Yeah.
A lot of effort has been put into this. Here's the grave. There's someone in that smoke.
Yeah.
Oh. A witch. A witch being burned.
Yeah, burn the witches.
Turn them to stone. Yeah.
If you're wondering what like a run through of a scare maze looks like when you're in the middle of a group, it's like this, guys.
Yeah,
see, they're all getting scared there. We're getting nothing.
There's more than just crows.
Oh, there's an actor there.
The crows have got a bit more variation. Usually it's just like that.
There we go, lovely smoke there.
Yeah.
And that is the end. Bit disappointing, that.
Yeah, we didn't get many scares.
No.
But as I say, the actual feeling.
I think because of the way the maze is designed, it's gonna get more crammed.
Walkers, but we can't really walk.
But there was still a lack of actors in there, really. There we go, Stitches his walk on because everyone's starting to realise how bad it is. Yeah, nice to see it walk on for once. Okay then, I think I'm finally ready to film this. Obviously I'm back home now, as you can tell, and it's a couple of days after my visit to Fright Nights. I'm glad I've left it a couple of days to film this because it's given me time to just process things a little bit and also see a bit more about other people's experiences at the event. Mainly Josh and Danielle, who I was with, because they spent an extra couple of days at the event. Now, you may be watching this thinking, Ben, you seem pretty positive overall in the vlog. It seemed like you were having a good time. And from the bits you saw, yes, I was. But you will obviously notice towards the end of the footage you've just seen that there's a lot of abrupt transitions. There's no real reviews of things. Now, there's a big reason for that. Essentially, my phone was running really low on battery. I don't know what it was, but after I filmed that review of survival games, you'll notice it was light at the time. My phone started draining the battery really quickly, and I was getting concerns because my priority when I'm at Fright Nights is always to film the Creature Campus show in full, to get it on the channel. Now, I thankfully managed to do that, and specifically with me staying till 9 PM, I wanted to do that at night, and with my phone being on 20% at like 5:30, it was getting quite concerning. And it ended up getting to the point where like my phone was just draining like Billy-O, and I've no idea why. And I ended up having to rent a power bank from guest services underneath the dome at the park for half an hour just to charge my phone. So I had enough to film the Creature Campus show at night. And also I ended up filming the Crows of Mawkin Meadow at night as well. Like, literally, that is all I was able to film on my phone after that survival games review due to the battery issues. Now, as for the power bank itself, it cost me around about £2 to rent out for 30 minutes. Now, I can't lie, it was pretty pathetic. It charged my phone from about 6% to about 17%, but it did what it needed to do in terms of me being able to get the footage I wanted to get of the event. Now, while my phone was charging, we did watch the Lucifers Lair fire show, and we went in Purgatory Town as well. Now, thankfully, Josh has really kindly allowed me to use some of his footage of that, which is how you've managed to see footage of that in the vlog. But yeah, it was far from an ideal situation, and as a result of it, I wasn't able to fully discuss and showcase various things that went wrong during my experience of Fright Nights, and what ultimately led it to be, in my opinion, the worst Fright Nights I've ever experienced. And so that is the major reason why I am now sat here to discuss that. Now, based off the vlog footage you've already seen, you'll know that a couple of things went wrong with the day. They weren't the biggest deal, but obviously Stealth was closed all day. That didn't bother me too much. Don't get me wrong, I wanted a night ride on it. But at the end of the day, Thorpe has so many coasters now, and you got Hyperia as well, and all the Fright Night stuff to do. It's not the biggest deal in the world. However, it is indirectly, potentially, as I'll get into. Another thing that on the surface wasn't the biggest deal in the world, but turned out to be a bit of a big deal, was the fact it was raining on and off all day. We didn't have any torrential rain, but we did have showers starting and stopping constantly. Now, as I discuss what I'm about to discuss, bear in mind that Stealth miraculously did reopen on the Tuesday, the day after my visit. I'm actually really surprised. It must have been a relatively minor issue, because if it was a really costly issue at this point in the season, we're really late on, I imagine the park would have just left it and the ride be down for the rest of the year. And another thing is that the weather was nowhere near as bad on Tuesday as it was on Monday, I'm led to believe. But let's now discuss Fright Nights as a whole, and the things that went well, but also the things that went very wrong and ultimately led to me leaving the park for the first time ever after the event without a smile on my face, which it really pains me to say, but I can't lie, I was quite disheartened and upset leaving the park that night. A nice positive takeaway from the event was obviously the opening ceremony in Lucifer's Lair. Now, while I wasn't too happy at first that this was taking place in the initial slot for Creature Campus, which, as tradition, me, Josh and Danielle would watch to kick off Fright Nights, we didn't lose any Creature Campus shows, so to speak, because they just moved the first one back 45 minutes and had the rest at 1:45. And overall, I think it was worth it, because that opening ceremony was actually quite good, and in some regards better than I expected. It wasn't just this 2-minute show, it was a good length, 10 minutes long, and as you will have seen, it involved Lucifer getting a character from each of the different mazes and scare zones and shows that Fright Nights has on offer, and just introducing them. Overall, I think it was a great way to introduce the event, and an effective means to explain to people who, unlike us theme park enthusiasts, might not be too familiar with what to expect from Fright Nights, what they can expect in terms of the different themes of the different scare zones and scare mazes they're about to experience. And obviously it was pretty cool at the end as well, where all the actors dashed off stage into the crowd and we got a couple of jump scares here and there. Next up, I'd like to discuss Creature Campus. Now, a pre-warning that this is going to take up the bulk of this review, and essentially it's the major reason as to why I'm very dissatisfied with this year's event. There's other reasons as well, but this is a big one. I was unfortunately really let down by this scare zone, if you can even call it that, as I'll get on to, despite me being pretty positive about it in the vlog initially. And essentially this is a big part of what I was referring to. A lot of stuff happened regarding this that I was simply unable to capture on camera due to the battery issues, and led to me having a really negative outlook on things. Now, don't get me wrong, I was really hyped up when I saw Creature Campus for the first time, so despite what I just said about issues arising later on that weren't so present at first, I probably did give off in the review that I enjoyed it more than I did in actual fact. However, at the end of the day, Creature Campus is my most anticipated thing for Fright Nights every year, so I'm always dead hyped after I see it for the very first time that year. However, I still stand by what I said in the review regarding the fact that I really liked Archie's mix. What I will say though is some song snippets felt way too brief, and that wasn't really the case in previous years, but there was a number of occasions where a good song would start playing, and just as it was reaching like the chorus or the climax of the tune, it had transitioned to just a completely different song, so you couldn't really get into any of the songs properly, and I think that definitely affected the enjoyment of the show overall. So I think, Archie, if you are watching, it may be worth for next year reducing slightly once again the number of songs used, because there were definitely more songs that featured in this show than any other show. There must have been about 20 in total. I think to some degree it was a little bit overkill this year, and it would have been nice to be able to appreciate some of the songs that were used a little bit more for what they actually are. Another thing I really liked about this year's show was the story, because it's a bit different to what we've had previously. As much as it involved another set of creatures coming in to kill the set of creatures invented in the previous year, obviously we had that in 2023 with the witches just coming in and killing the Amatian Lycans, and then the next year the Gorgons coming in and killing the witches. It was a bit different in that there was a bit more depth to the story. It wasn't just a case of the creatures turning up on site and committing murder. It was a case of Medusa, or well, one of her servant Gorgons, accidentally created these creatures in a laboratory that essentially went on and turned against Medusa. Apart from that, there was a lot of good effects used this year, probably more effects than we've ever seen in this show, but yeah, smoke, mist, there was even some smell pods I noticed, which we never had before, and obviously the lighting, as always, was good. So yeah, I really enjoyed that element of it as well. I also liked how close up the actors got to guests. You will have seen in the footage that there was a segment in the show where Medusa would come and kneel down right in front of you, and she'd also have a couple of Gorgons next to her as well, one of which was Clarice, which is actually Cara, who's acted in that show for a good few years. She was show captain of it for a couple of years in a row. I think it was 2023 and 2024. She's been in it every year I've watched it, and we've had loads of interactions with her that I've caught on the vlog, so yeah, massive shout out to you, Cara. Did a brilliant job as always, but she was part of the show, which I really liked. And yeah, they were talking about something, doing a bit of a dance on the ground. I couldn't really catch what they were saying because the music was so loud.
I can't hear you because the music is so loud!
But yeah, it was something very different, and a different style of choreography that we've not really seen in the show before. However, we're now moving on to the first major negative of Fright Nights for 2025 surrounding Creature Campus, and that is the addition of the stage. It's the first year that we've actually had a stage in Creature Campus that the actors dance on. Before, they just would dance on the concrete floor that's there, the Stealth Plaza. But while this stage improves the view of the show for everyone, which is, I'm guessing, the reason they introduced it, so that those who turned up later to the show further back could still see what was going on, which was difficult before, it causes loads of problems should the weather be bad. I'm telling you now, if there's even the slightest bit of rainfall, based off my experience, they will cancel the show. Now, don't get me wrong, the rain was quite bad that day. There was showers on and off. However, there were long periods of time where it wouldn't rain at all. Now, because it was raining, the 6:45 PM show was cancelled. However, after that, the rain stopped for a bit. But literally, a minute before the 7:45 PM show was due to start, it started spitting with rain ever so slightly for like 60 seconds, and they immediately just cancelled the show like that. Until the legendary Clarice, who I mentioned before, obviously Cara, saved it last minute, because obviously the rain stopped. Essentially, I said it only lasted for like a minute. It stopped like a minute after they announced the show was cancelled. So she was basically like in character, hang on, it stopped. So she literally saved that show, and that's not the only thing she did that made our day a little bit better as well, as I'll get on to. There needs to be a way around that. You can't just cancel shows like that. They either need to get rid of the stage or change the material on the stage so it's safe to the actors to perform when it's raining, or just get the actors some shoes that have good grip or something. I don't know, but like, we're in the UK, it's October, the chance of it raining is reasonable, and for a little bit of rain to cancel the show and hinder the guest experience like that, it really isn't ideal. Don't get me wrong, the actors were drying the stage, should rain occur before the show, they had like towels and stuff, but even if it would start spitting again, it seems that the show just gets cancelled. It must be annoying for the actors as well. I'm guessing it's not them who've come up with this rule, it's like the health and safety team at the park or whatever, but yeah, that really annoyed me and was one of the reasons why my experience of the event was hindered. We may have only had one show cancelled, but still, it really affected my enjoyment of it because I was always stood there before a show started after that, stressing that it could get cancelled or whatever. The biggest letdown of Fright Nights as a whole, however, though, was major cutbacks to the roaming aspects of Creature Campus. In previous years, with the exception of 2022, when the actors would roam constantly, the actors would turn up 15 minutes before a show and then stay 15 minutes after. And in those 15 minutes periods before and after, they would be interacting with guests. However, it soon became apparent that that wouldn't be the case this year, as the actors were literally turning up 5 minutes before each show, which left me both very confused and very annoyed when Thorpe Park had still advertised on the app for this year that the show was going to have a scare zone aspect to it, where you'd be able to interact and be jump scared by the roaming actors. Now, don't get me wrong, credit where credit's due. When the actors did turn up 5 minutes before the show, they were interacting with guests. Well, I say actors, the Gorgons were interacting with the guests. I haven't seen any videos anywhere of any of the Franks, who are obviously the other creatures in it for this year, interacting with guests. And I didn't really see any Franks interacting with anyone during my visit to Fright Nights either. But yeah, the Gorgons were trying their hardest with the time they had, which was very little. And then the same applied after the show. They'd just leave immediately. There was no sticking about. So there was barely any time to get any interactions with anyone. The roaming in Creature Campus was one of my favourite elements of Fright Night. So to have that taken away left me really, really upset and disappointed. I actually did send some DMs afterwards to try and find out what was going on with this. And it turns out that apparently, the reason the actors weren't roaming on the day of my visit was due to the wet and cold weather. Apparently, they just decided to spend more time inside or something. Now, again, I don't think this was the actors' decisions, most likely, because they were all sort of behaving in the same way. I'm guessing this was a performance captain decision or health and safety decision, where if it's raining so much or it's so cold, the actors stay inside rather than roam. Now, this doesn't make any sense to me because some of the actors in the other scare zones were still roaming, like Purgatory Town. They just had umbrellas to shelter them from the cold and wet weather. And some Creature Campus actors even had umbrellas. So, if Purgatory Town actors are allowed to roam in the wet weather, why can't the Creature Campus actors? Again, it's affecting the guest experience and it's affected my experience. And there's just no reason at all. You can't predict months in advance when you're planning a trip whether it's going to rain or not on a given day. The weather, you can't predict the weather that far in advance. Guests shouldn't be punished. The guest experience shouldn't be hindered for anyone visiting on a day where the weather's not great. But with that being said, with obviously the other actors roaming in certain other scare zones, I have my own speculation as to why the actors weren't roaming that day, and I reckon it's because Stealth was closed. I don't know why, but whenever Stealth is closed, the park, for whatever reason, just do not seem to like guests being in that area at all. They'll always try and block it off or have someone turning people away or something. But why should that affect Creature Campus? That's a completely different attraction that's there for Halloween in that area. Guests should still be able to enjoy that fully, regardless of whether Stealth's open or not. So yeah, because of the other actors in the other scare zones having umbrellas and still roaming outdoors, I honestly think that it was due to Stealth being closed, that the actors weren't roaming in that area when the show wasn't on, and they just hoped that no guest would notice or know. But I'm an enthusiast. I pay full attention to these things, and whether or not I'm getting the same experience as other people. So you've been caught out, Thorpe, if that's the case. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if some manager in the rides team has just told the actors not to roam, or told the performance captain, and they've told the actors it's down to the weather. Now, obviously, the next day, it wasn't raining so much, and Stealth was back open. And what do I see on the Theme Park Mad Instagram story? I see Josh and Danielle led face down, arse up, on the floor, interacting with actors who are getting them to do snake impressions. Obviously, Medusa and the Gorgons this was. So the next day, the actors were back to roaming again. Like, just why? There's no reason why that shouldn't have been happening on Monday. I've already said why. I don't care whether it's due to stealth or the rain. Because both of those factors changed the next day. I'm not going to know, but honestly, that really, really annoyed me, even more than I already was. Because it became very clear at that point that the actors were roaming. Don't get me wrong, I'd already been told beforehand that, well, obviously when I checked on this the night before, that in the event that it isn't raining, the actors roam sort of 15 minutes before and after like they've done in previous years. But this just confirmed that and left me incredibly, incredibly annoyed. The only interaction I got with any actor in terms of roaming was with Clarice, just before and after a couple of the shows. Obviously, Cara, absolutely brilliant. She recognised me because I think she's watched the channel before, and obviously I've visited in previous years and whatnot. So shout out to you. She was really good in the bit she had time to do. We got a picture with her as well, but again, she wasn't around for very long because, I mean, none of the actors were. And the way that was handled as well, I feel, was quite unprofessional. Like, the actors at the end of the show would just be like, oh, we've got to go now. Like, sort of as the show would finish, they'd say that on stage in character and then just leave. And especially at the end of the day, it was very much, let's get out of here. It's just not good guest experience as well. They didn't take any real time to give any final interactions with guests. This was the Franks more so than the Gorgons, really, but it was just really poor, and you would never have got that in previous years. And the Franks in general, I just didn't really like them. I think they're the worst creature we've ever had across both Amity and Lycan Thorpe High, which was the prequel to Creature Campus, and Creature Campus in general. They had no personality, they weren't interacting with guests at all. And just in general across the park, I noticed that many of the actors just lacked the energy and passion compared to previous years in the mazes and stuff. They weren't running about as much as normal and just putting in as much of a 100% performance. Like, I don't know if it's down to the Merlin Entertainment's related issues. Obviously they cut loads of entertainment jobs earlier this year and they're sending it all out to third parties, but then they've recontracted them, some of them back into Fright Nights, because I mean, a lot of the Creature Campus cast, for example, were the same actors who've acted in it for numerous years now. I don't really understand what's going on with that. I think they're still in a bit of a hybrid stage in terms of getting the third-party company sorted, in terms of outsourcing the entertainment. But it just didn't seem like the actors wanted to be there as much as they have done in previous years. Not as much into the roles, so to speak. And it really reflected in the mazes as well. Every single maze besides trailers. Massive shout out once again to Becca, because what she's done, she's trained the cast so well. Obviously I explained who Becca is before, but like the other mazes, Deadbeat, survival games, it didn't feel like the actors were putting in as much energy as they should have been doing. Survival games in particular, like, you're assassins for God's sake, and like, you're meant to be acting like you're killing people, like, not actually, but you're meant to give that impression. You should be going mental in there. And none of the actors, bar one who I gave a shout out to in the review, were doing that. They didn't seem like assassins at all. They seemed like villains in a TV show that airs on CBeebies. It was, honestly, it was really sad to see, I can't lie. And don't even get me started on Stitches. I've said everything I need to say about that maze already, but it was absolutely appalling, the acting in there. Honestly, I'm sorry, but like, loads of people are giving good reviews of Stitches over the years, but I'm telling you now, if you're in my run through and you think that was a good experience, you desperately need to up your standards, because it was absolutely pathetic. I'm sorry, I know I'm being harsh. I've had people say to me in the past that they think I'm too harsh on Stitches. I get where you're coming from if you had a good experience of that maze, but I can only speak from my experiences. And my experience have all been bad, but this year just took it to a whole new level. It was a joke, honestly. It was the only good actress in there, and this seems to always be consistent. The pre-show actress was great in character. Like, you always have that Toymaker granddaughter character in there, introducing it all, and she played her role really well, as always. So shout out to you. And there was a couple of good actors in there towards the end who did a couple of good jump scares, but the rest of the cast, I mean, what can I say? Something's seriously gone wrong in there this year, because for so many actors to just perform the scares so poorly, so off time, and with so much lack of energy. In terms of the Lucifers Lair fire show, which I didn't get a chance to review at all in the main vlog, I really did enjoy that. But again, there's meant to be roaming actors in that area. Where were they? I get that actor comfort and safety is paramount, but if the Purgatory Town lot can do their job with umbrellas, then so should Lucifer's Lair and Creature Campus actors. There's no excuse for it. Unless we got a storm, like we've had a couple of storms recently, that's a bit different. But, you know, if it's just the odd shower here and there, little bits of rain, like, there's no excuse for not putting on an optimal performance for guests. Speaking of Purgatory Town, that was an absolutely brilliant scare zone. I didn't manage to get footage of all the interaction. I just got footage that Josh has sent me, but the actors in there were putting in 110%. Some of the best at Fright Nights, along with the trailers cast, and obviously Clarice as well, who was working in Creature Campus. So yeah, shout out to all of you guys doing an excellent job with your umbrellas, powering through. Crows was really lackluster, as you saw from the footage. There wasn't enough actors in there, and once again, it was just a complete lack of energy really from the ones that were in there. Another thing that really annoyed me about this year's event was all the Lucifer announcements across the resort on all the rides and stuff. It was very repetitive, very monotone is the way to put it. Like, it's fine in some areas, that Lucifer voice, but it's just so monotone, and I'm not really a fan of it. I'm not really a fan of having a singular character take over the entire event, which was the case with Lucifer this year. It's just, it gets a bit repetitive in my opinion. It really pains me to be this critical about Fright Nights, because I'm obviously so passionate about it. That's why I always cover the lineup every year when it gets announced and share my thoughts. I follow all the construction updates. I follow some of the scare actors on Instagram who I've obviously spoken about in this video, some of them as well. I've shouted them out. I message people who are involved with Fright Nights to share my thoughts on stuff. Obviously, Jack and Archie last year, the whole Deadbeat thing, that has made me passionate about Fright Nights. It's nice to see that some of the people who are involved with it are so nice and genuine. They didn't have to give us that run through at all, but they did. They took time out of the day to do that. You know, that is such an amazing random act of kindness. That is why I make the 4-hour journey to this event. I've been looking forward to it for 12 months now. I always look forward to next year's Fright Nights as soon as I visit the years before, but I've just been completely let down this year, and I don't think it's for reasons that are justifiable. I don't even want to watch Josh's vlog through to the end that he's filmed, because I know for a fact that he's had a very different experience the past 2 days. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I've seen enough, like that snake clip I referenced on Instagram before. Wish I could get some B-roll of that, but the Instagram story that he put it on's expired now, so I'm not going to be able to just show you the difference in the roaming that took place the day after I visited. It's really frustrating. The event needs a drastic improvement for next year because it's its big 25th year, and I really hope that the park recognise that and put more resources into the event than they have this year, because it's very clear that while a lot of work has still gone into it, don't get me wrong, it's definitely been a bit of a half-done job compared to previous years, so to speak. Obviously with us having no new mazes and stuff, and it just seems like some of the management and overall organisation's gone downhill with the various issues. And as a result of that, I simply cannot recommend it this year, unfortunately. I mean, if you go in, you probably have already organised it and booked your tickets at this stage, but if you're going to get a rainy day like I had and whatever, like, yeah, you're not going to be in for the best experience. And to be honest, it wasn't even just the rain. Like, the scare maze issues, can't really blame them on the rain, can you? I wish I could relive this year's event at Unlocked, because obviously Unlocked is for the enthusiasts. The park are going to put 110% in for that, as are all the performance captains and everyone else in charge of the different experiences that Fright Nights has to offer. However, unfortunately, it's looking like I'm not going to be able to. Me and Josh have recently started jobs. That's right, an exclusive on the channel. I recently started a job as well. So I'm just not in the best position to travel 4 hours and take days off for it and stuff. But yeah, SLK-STN Unlocked is Jack Silkstone's private event for Fright Nights, where he hires everything out. limited tickets are on offer, and you can do the mazes an unlimited number of times for a given price, like just one price for everything, with minimal queues. And obviously all the scare zones have minimal queues as well. You get the shows and a 3-hour ERT on Hyperia. So definitely check out that if you're interested in Fright Nights and you're as passionate about it as I am. But hopefully next year I get to go. To leave Fright Nights 2025 behind with such a bad taste, it really pains me, because I'm going to have to wait another year to experience Fright Nights again, obviously in 2026. But guess it is what it is. Obviously, as I said before, I've uploaded the entire Creature Campus show from this year. Check out that video on the right side of your screen. Click the icon in the centre of your screen to subscribe for more things theme park related in the UK and beyond. I'm Ben, you've been watching ThrillNet, and I'll catch you again soon.